Well, good morning. Ain't this a switch?
Hello. Well, this is a
So,
much better looking screen right now than normal Tuesdays.
yeah. So, for those of you joining us, welcome. This is weird. Like, EJ and I have never done a show together. So, today we're doing a show together because Mike and his wife are, unfortunately, they're down in Miami suffering in Miami. So, um, some kind of a marketing conference that Mike has went to. So, hey, you like the EJ's appliance repair hat there? Yeah,
I like it. That looks pretty
yeah.
good. I should get one for myself.
You should. You should. It's pretty slick. So, today on the show, because we got the two marketing gurus on here, we're just going to make marketing great again. And we're going to go back to the basics and just have a good conversations about basic marketing stuff for service contractors. So, I think this is going to be a good show.
Oh yeah,
And happy Veterans Day. Delayed. I know you're a Navy boy, right?
that's correct. That's correct.
I
Like,
know I think I've told you this joke before, but I'm gonna say this joke because it's funny. I was a guardian on the honor flight for veterans. I've been twice now as a guardian. And on the first one, our bus captain's name was Rose, and she told jokes like crazy. And one of the jokes I always remember is she asked, "So what is a bathroom called in the army?" And that is called a
latrine.
latrine, right? What is a bathroom called in the Navy?
It's the head
The head. And what's a bathroom called in the Air Force? It's
bathroom.
called the powder room. Did I not tell you that one? I thought I had told
You
you that
haven't.
one.
You haven't.
Yeah. So man, she got some flack from that one, but man, it was hilarious. So thank you to all the veterans. I'm wearing my proud dad shirt. My son is down at Lackland Air Force Base right now. He's there, graduated from BMT. He's in tech school. He graduates this next week, and he'll be home. And then he'll be at Scott Air Force Base from December 2nd through the 20th. So we think he'll be home for Christmas. And then he's getting married next year. It's just crazy to think. So
Oh my gosh,
good morning, Garrison. And then a Soper,
Andrew.
uh, Andrew, yes. Good morning to you. All those that will be joining us as well. If you're watching the replay, welcome aboard. We've got a good one. So let's start out with the prayer, and then we'll let you dive into the scripture.
Sure thing, man.
All right, Heavenly Father, Father God, we just thank you for the gift of serving others through our work, and guide us as we reach out to those who need our services. Give us wisdom in how we share our message. Help us to build trust with our customers and to serve with integrity and excellence. Bless our efforts as we work to grow our business in a way that honors you and serves our community. And above all else, let people see your love through our actions. Amen.
Amen.
Got
But
some marks on my head now.
look at the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind it. I got a good looking bald head. So
My wife won't let me do that, but I think it's because she knows how lopsided my head is.
we rode about 230 miles this weekend. We drove about 1,100 miles to ride 230 miles and went to a motorcycle rally down in Louisiana. So um, I get that look a lot because when I'm wearing my vests for our Motorcycle Riders Association, not club, association,
And not
I got
game.
that and a bald head. Everyone's like, "Man, that guy's a hard looking biker, dude." It's like, yeah, no, I'm a softie. I'm a soft headed guy. So yeah.
You're a hard.
Morning, Saul. What's that?
I say you're a hard-headed softy.
Look at this. He can't even stay away for a day. You're in Miami. Get out on the beach, dude. Come
He
on.
just wants to see
Something.
what we say about him.
Yeah. Oh, we already talked smack about you in the first 2 minutes. Now you can watch it all over again.
Good morning, Gary and Saul.
Saul.
So Saul, my middle name and the name I go by at home is Mike. So you're right.
True.
This is Mike and Jason, but we'll go by EJ and Jason. Good morning, Marion.
Yeah.
Mrs. Dr. Claus, Ibsen, Dr. Dan.
Dr. Claus, Dan. That's
She's awesome. And Dr. Dan. They're watching together.
all
Mike
right.
says,
Let's do it.
here to make sure EJ does it right. All right, no pressure.
Right. True.
Let's get into scripture. I'm going to go with a regular one that we do this one quite a bit, but I love it. And to me, when we're talking about marketing, this can really do the trick here. It's Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. This one, it just, I mean, it says put everything you have into whatever you do. And one thing I like to say related to this is it's as if you're doing it for the Lord and not for people. But I do it, I serve people in a way that they will see Him in me and my actions.
Mhm.
And that's what it's all about for me. And I tell you, when we talk about marketing and the branding part of my business, we highlight how we treat people, how we serve our customer.
Yeah.
And it really comes through in some of the things we do. And I'll slow down just a bit so we can follow Jason's lead. But I'm excited about this. I think both of us could talk for a couple hours by ourselves, just talking to the wall about this stuff.
I think we're going to have to do a part 2 on something. I don't know what it's going to be, but a part 2 for sure. So, well, when you think about marketing, what is, and we're talking about basics, right? Just getting back to the basics. So for you, if you were to start a business all over again, what would be like the first thing that you would do when it comes to marketing?
So I'm going to say I would identify who I want to serve
Okay.
and speak intentionally to them. I think when I started my business, I just started talking to everybody. It was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we do appliance repair."
Yeah.
Okay. You tell everybody what you do, and I think you need to figure out who you serve and what problem you serve for them.
I like it. So if you didn't have any customers, so for us, we used, and I've said this before, we used a company that took the past 5 years of our invoices and took the data and helped us identify that perfect avatar. That was 2016, 2017 or so that we used that. But if you didn't have a service like that, if you didn't have 5 years of past customer invoices to look at, all right, these are, I'd start by giving someone else my resume. Ouch. Yeah.
He said
Um,
it's harder to run a business than what he thought. Maybe
it can be, that's
that's
for
his
sure.
last.
So how would you start to identify? Um, for us, I will tell you with my office help, we threw that big cast out there. Let's do marketing. Let's do this. Let's do accounting. Let's do. I mean, we were just like the net was just cast way too big. And then we quickly learned, oh, let's hone it back in a little bit. Let's just focus on these three things, and that's it. So if you listen to anything Mike and I say today, Mike, uh, it is don't cast your net too big, right? Find a few niches that you serve and you serve well, and identify where those niches could be. So, okay, let's talk about that. Again, how would you start if you had no customers? Like, how would you identify that customer? Take
Well,
it back to the basics.
so that would be tough because I did the same thing you did, and I found out who my target customer is through data
Mhm.
analysis of 5 years of data. But that's tough, man.
Yeah,
How would I think I would have to just start by announcing what we do. It's
yeah. Well, as an electrician, I I was really, really good at residential service troubleshooting. And so there wasn't too many others that were really, really proficient in going into a home that was already built and being able to see behind the walls, visually like I could. And that's one thing that I get told time and time and time again. So knowing my strengths in residential service, I think I would focus there, and that's why we went with the detective thing, right?
Yeah.
So what is something that you have found yourself, EJ, to be really strong suited at in your genre?
So thanks for clearing it up for me and giving me a chance to breathe and think.
Hmm.
Uh, when I started, I quickly realized there were holes in the market.
Yeah.
So that's what I aimed to fill. The first one was nobody worked on Samsung.
Mm,
Now I tell my market we're the Samsung guys.
yeah. There
We
you go.
don't work for Samsung, but we're the guys that you call when nobody else can fix your Samsung, or nobody will take your call. When Samsung has tried to fix it and they failed, you call us, we can fix it.
There you go.
So that was a big hole. But for me, when I started, the big angle was we're going to do the right thing. You can trust us,
Yeah.
uh, because there was quickly a lot of feedback from customers about somebody else in the area that was. What are we looking at here? We got to look up this way now.
No, I've got
Funny.
multiple screens.
Uh,
That's funny.
there was somebody else that was going out and just taking money and not coming back.
Yeah.
So that I'm telling you, as I'm thinking about it, it's problems that people had that I could hone in on.
Yep.
So lack of trust in service providers and lack of service and support in certain areas of the industry, namely Samsung.
Gotcha. So you became the Samsung expert.
Yep.
I like that.
And
Service territory and budget, the basics. Hmm. Interesting. Let me think on that one for a second.
you know,
So
I've been working on. Uh, Zach's been challenging me lately as I'm growing very quickly now again, and we want to try to make sure that it doesn't happen like it did 2 years ago,
yep.
too quickly and then fall apart. Uh, so we've been talking a lot about uh, building up or updating the business plan. So I revisited my business plan that I wrote 5 years ago, and it's happened.
Hmm.
But now the way I run my business is different, uh, slightly. Some of the details, like I don't
Yeah.
charge $75 for a completed call anymore, uh, but
Yeah.
updating it. And Andrew's mentioning the services you provide, the area you serve, and the money and the budget. That those are all important things when you're starting a business. It helps you identify how you serve people.
For sure. I tell you, in today's society, we have so many different tools. Chat GPT is incredible. If you're not using it for your business and you get stuck on things, it can quickly help you identify things. So
Amen.
just to give you an idea, I just quickly put in here as an appliance repair company, how can I focus on what problems my services solve for customers? Right. And you can identify it like, EJ said I was the Samsung king or I am the Samsung person, help me type that in there. Put in help me identify or help me create a marketing piece that revolves around being the Samsung expert in my area, right? There's just so many cool things that you can do with ChatGPT that we didn't have 25 years ago. uh,
Right.
on the same thing, write a brief description of my ideal customer, including key characteristics and pain points. Um, so it popped out like reliability focused, solution oriented, time conscious, budget minded, and then just descriptions for all this. So that's a simple and easy practical tip that's very inexpensive, if not free, right?
Now,
Um,
just to follow this up, I just dropped the link for Outcome Academy.
yep.
Jenny Jenny Seeley has a program called Outcome Academy, and she has this session that she's doing right now, a Chat GPT workshop. Uh, the cost is only $7,
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
she gives you the stuff that you need to fill your social media, your blog posts, all the stuff. We're all using it. All of us that's behind the camera, uh, we're all using some version of it. And I'm telling you, it changes the game. Like when I run out of ideas, she has an idea generator and just
Hmm,
spits it out. You pick a number, and then
interesting.
it gives you 5 different Facebook posts you can make about it, blog posts, email marketing, whatever it is. Uh, so shout
That's
out to
pretty cool.
Jenny at Outcome Academy. Click the link if you want to check it out.
She's got one coming up on the 18th. It looks like. So yeah,
The
I'm
Small
definitely interested
Business
in that.
Intensive. It's a
Yeah,
bigger program and it stretches out a few weeks, but it's more of a guided thing. It's pretty good stuff.
yeah. So once you've kind of identified your ideal customer or your strong suit, then how do you start finding them? Well, it's a matter of okay, is my ideal customer um again, I keep cheating because I know what our ideal customer is. So I was trying to go back to the basics of thinking, how do I find?
That's
Well,
that's hard, ain't it? That's
yeah, it
that's where
is.
that's where you tripped me up earlier. I'm like, dang,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought I
because
knew.
you gotta think back to the basics, right? Um, does your ideal customer do they work out at a gym? Do they shop at your local grocery store? Or are they more of a Walmart or Dollar General person, right? And once you've kind of identified maybe where they go often, then you start working on your marketing piece to target that specific customer. So let's say maybe they do work out at a gym. What's your marketing piece going to look like? Right. So that's where we can start talking about marketing at that point. And is it going to be focused towards the gym rat? If I'm going to put a marketing piece up at a gym, a local gym, and partner with them, it's going to have something that catches their eye from that standpoint. So I think in going back to the basics, in today's society, building a strong online presence is a must.
Yeah,
Um, I had a really good conversation with a guy from Clayton Homes last night. We went out to dinner, and we had a bunch of us just went to a local place here last night and hung out for a couple hours. And he was talking about all his customer sales people really focus on building their own personal brand. And I loved what he was saying about that. They build their own personal brand so people will follow them and, maybe get some ideals and tips on what they would like their home to look like by looking at some of these newer homes. And
yeah,
then eventually, if they want to get a newer home, then they're the person that they want to go talk to. So it was neat how that personal brand feeds into the business
yeah,
and even if they don't own the business, right, as a salesperson. So think about in your own self, your own life. Are you on TikTok? Are you on Facebook? Are you on LinkedIn? Another thing I was looking at this morning asked me what my LinkedIn, and that was the only social media presence that they wanted to know was what was my LinkedIn. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm glad I'm on LinkedIn, right?
yeah.
So it's crazy. What about you as far as building a strong online presence?
Well, for one, you mentioned in the personal brand. I know you said you didn't watch yesterday's episode yet, but
Mhm.
uh, Zach uh, highlighted the new website and brand that Mike helped him
Yeah.
uh, with Amp Marketing, uh, the Pink Hat Roofer. He's
Ah,
got his own website for the Pink Hat Roofer.
yep.
Uh, and Zach works for somebody else. It's not his company. Uh, you're looking it up now, ain't you?
I am.
Uh, it's pretty cool. And he's really stepping into that. I'm your guy, right?
Yeah.
Not this company. I'm the guy. I'm the guy
Yeah.
that's going to help you get stuff done. But social media wise, I've been really trying to figure this out because I'm a Facebook age guy.
Yep. Me too.
I fought TikTok for so long, and I fell into it last year, and I've been trying to use the social media presence a little bit more. Like I ain't got no tons of followers. I think I got like a couple hundred maybe.
Yeah.
And my business has a Facebook page or a YouTube page, and I post little videos on it. Mostly they've been customer testimonials. And the customers that I really look for to get fit that ideal customer avatar,
Hmm.
which is upper middle to elderly age. And, you know, that's the market, right? I want somebody that will speak well and explain their problem and sing our praises.
Yeah.
And then what we've done with all of this is a bunch of different things, right? I highlight in my Facebook posts using Canva to make it look pretty and keep the branding consistent. I know we've
Hmm.
both been on that journey at the same time,
Yeah.
trying to put out the same colors and the same message fonts and really trying to speak to people.
Yeah.
And I know I've been putting some of my office up in mine too. I
Yep.
got to give some love where it's got to go. But uh, one extra thing that we did is Mike is linking the YouTube videos on my website.
Hmm.
So like if somebody talks about how we fix their stove,
Yep.
that video is linked on the stove services page
Yep.
so that they can say, okay, I'm looking for stove repair. Here's a bunch of stuff. And oh yeah, by the way, here's two people that really had a good experience about it. But
Yeah.
that's on the
Testimonials,
side.
reviews, they're like the currency of today when it comes to a lot of stuff like that. It's yeah, beautiful marketing.
You're talking to the review guy,
Yep. Yep.
but this ain't a review podcast today. But what? One of the things is the SEO value that having a presence in all of these areas
Hmm.
also gives you. So, like when me and you like talking about marketing, it's more about the message.
Hmm.
And we've learned that you can tell the story and send out the message in a way that helps you in these other areas that are just kind of bonuses, right?
Yeah.
We a lot of people when they think about marketing, they think paid advertising. And I do paid advertising. I do pay for SEO. And I'll tell you, the SEO works so much better when me and Mike work in tandem.
Hmm.
He builds the website and makes it clean and functional and it does the job. But then when I can backlink the website in all these different areas
Yeah.
and feed into it, and then he takes the videos, puts them on the website, and then it feeds back to YouTube, and
Yeah.
YouTube and Google are best friends. Um, all of those things make a difference. So when people say, "What kind of things can I do?" I mean, you really have to go to those basics.
Yeah.
Uh, get a good website,
Yeah.
get the social media presence, and
Yep.
link them together.
So Mike does a great job with that in helping small contractors, new contractors get going. If you're not able to financially do that and you're just getting started, Facebook is free, right? Going and getting a Google My Business listing, it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. And you can always send people to that. Make sure your contact information is updated. Make sure they figure out how to get to you until you can afford to get a website. It's very inexpensive. I'm telling you, Mike is very inexpensive compared to many other websites that we've had or that we've looked into. So, um, Ant Marketing, check them out.
Speaking of
Um,
Facebook, you know what I did when I first started? Because I didn't have a website.
mhm,
Uh, I don't even think I had a Google listing yet. I didn't really know that that thing existed.
yeah,
Uh, I just made some really cheap business cards. I thought maybe I had one here. Mine were brown wood green with
Yeah.
white lettering. It was just whatever I thought looked cool on uh, Vistaprint, and I only bought 50 because I was terrified. Like 50 cards cost me $50, and and usually you can get like 500 for 150.
Yeah.
I was terrified to spend $50 on these little cards. I'm like, they ain't going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
But Facebook, I knew that if I was going to be on Facebook, that was going to be the way that I reached people.
Yep.
So I made the Facebook page. I put pictures in it. This was all before I had any of the alliance stuff. I just knew I would need a couple pictures. I would need the info in there on how to get a hold of us. And at that time, it was my personal cell phone number. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
No.
I
No.
thought, what if this thing gets crazy and I get like 10 phone calls a month? Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It gets way crazier than that.
Oh, yeah.
But I did a promo. I said, if you like and share, when we get to 100 followers, we'll give away a $25 gift card.
There you go.
And then it was like, when we get to 500, we'll give away a $50 gift card. And 1,000, it was $100 gift card. So I mean, if you're doing the math there, less
Yep.
than $200, you can get 1,000 followers. And then I don't even care about how many followers we have anymore. It's just like, I know I've got an audience out there
Yeah.
that is seeing us. I don't need to grow that anymore.
It is. We were watching Shark Tank last night, and there was a company on there that had 6 million followers on their social media platforms, and they had like $50,000 in total sales. And I think it was Cuban that said, "What are you doing? You're not using your platforms correctly. If that's all you have in sales," or maybe actually it's Mr. Wonderful, because Cuban stepped up and said, "Well, they're not converting those to sales." But still, yet 6 million followers, but only 50. Like it was some stupid, like 50,000, maybe 500,000.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here thinking, I still think about the personal branding versus the business branding. We've got 20, 23, 2,400 followers on my office help, and I've got 3,900 followers on my personal Facebook page. So just think about that when it comes to the personal branding. Careful what you post, because, those people will convert, to following your business page if they like you enough. So,
You know,
you
I'll tell you that here. Let's check about that just for a minute.
know,
There's people I see that have a business page
yeah.
and they treat it like their personal page.
Mm,
It might actually be their personal page.
yeah.
And they get so controversial,
Yeah.
especially as we
On
were
their
going.
business page.
Yeah, especially as
Yeah.
we're going through election season.
Yeah.
Very polarizing, borderline offensive posts. And it's like, I'm very opinionated about things that I believe in,
Yeah.
but I don't get super aggressive about sharing those opinions.
Yeah.
I'll share my opinions, and I am one of those people that I can have myself included in a political or religious or something conversation
Yeah.
and share my side and listen to somebody else's and still be reasonable people. But some of these people out here using their Facebook pages to just be completely one side or the other, blasting and criticizing, like they might be the same people that are asking for help when it gets to be a little rough patch and say, I don't know why nobody's calling me.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Business page, leave it to business. Personal page, sure, go for it. But I'm still reserved when it comes to that. So,
So
um,
Andrew is definitely one of these people. He not one of the people that uses his business page like this. I'm just saying he says I admire people that aren't reserved online. And
yeah.
Andrew is somebody that he's very opinionated and he shares his opinion. Uh, and sometimes it rubs somebody wrong, and okay, that's fine. I believe if I don't misspeak, Andrew, I think he's one that thinks let's just be grown and talk,
Mm-hmm.
and you shouldn't be offended because I have a different opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm more on the soft side. Like I try to tiptoe around the opinions and the bias, right? But the thing is, using it in conjunction with your business, I mean,
Could be detrimental. It could be. Marion
and
had a good question about radio advertising. So I'll tell you from my personal experience with radio, I broke even. What I spent on radio advertising is about what I brought in. The top of mind awareness was good. It lasted for about a year or so after I stopped doing radio advertising. So a little bit of a good Toma effect, but I think in anything you do, you're going to have to try it for at least 3 to 6 months. If you start uh, doing ad campaigns on, Google, or if you're doing campaigns on social media, you're going to have to try it for 3 to 6 months and just see if it works. Me personally, I wouldn't do radio again. There's
yeah,
so many different avenues for radio. You have a lot of your local. Now, it could depend on your avatar. If you find that your avatar for your business is somebody who's, let's say, listening to like news radio a lot, then advertise like crazy on news radio.
yeah,
But for me, right, I listen to Sirius XM a lot. I switch over to Apple Music quite a bit. And I very rarely listen to FM radio anymore.
yeah,
So an AM, I'm sorry to say it's a thing of the past, but I very rarely even, if it's on AM, it's because somebody said, hey, what's his name's going to be on there talking about this, and I may switch to it. But it's more of a local thing. So, and then you get Spotify and, all these different platforms today. So who's listening to what? Well, that's where you got to kind of do your due diligence and find that out. And it may not be worth it. Maybe it would be worth it, but it doesn't matter if it's radio, if it's TV, if it's billboards, is your avatar there? That's the question. We've tried billboard, we've tried radio, we've tried TV. I've always found personal referrals and repeat customers were my biggest source of revenue. My trucks usually came in that close top 3 to 5. So I would spend a lot of money on getting my trucks wrapped, and then I would spend money on personal referrals and repeat customers. So you're already a customer, or if you already have a customer, spend money there. I'm going to keep touching them, sending them postcards, sending them emails, picking up the phone and having my CSRs call them. And if you don't have that service, there are services available for that. So if you don't have somebody in the office to do that, there are companies that can do stuff like that for you, to pick up that phone and touch that person. In my business, people would only call electricians once every 9 years. So for me, membership agreements, those maintenance agreements were very important because it got me in their house once or twice a year instead of that once every 9 years. So
uh,
getting,
I want to keep talking about the radio thing,
Mhm.
and we'll kind of link everything in together. We've been reading in the book club, the Tommy Mello books. We did Elevate, and we went backwards, and then now we're doing the what is it called? Service Business Millionaire, or Home Service Millionaire.
Mhm.
He talks briefly about radio, and people do this advertising, especially when you're at a small level, uh, starting out or with a small budget, and they get scared. So he says, somebody might do a $20 ad on Facebook for a week and it doesn't do anything. So you just say, I'm not ever doing that again. Right.
Mhm.
And I'll just finish the radio part and then we'll talk about some of the other marketing. Right. He says, I've been approached by people to do radio marketing, and they kind of suggested like one 15-second piece here, and then like the next hour and the next hour, and like certain days.
Mhm.
He says, you pepper them down. Like you pick an hour pay extra for that hour and have your ad come on 15 times, right? It's constant.
Mm-hmm.
Those people in that zone are targeted. And then, like you said, don't advertise on your favorite radio station. Advertise on the station that your ideal customer may listen to. I'm not saying do the radio marketing. I'm just saying understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And only spend what you're comfortable spending.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the return is, spend, conservatively. So don't do a $20 thing. I like to use that thought that I've shared several times. I know what my average ticket value is, and I use that as a multiple. So, for example, round numbers, if it's $250 as average ticket, and I'm going to pay $1,000 for this thing, is it reasonable to expect I'm going to get at least 4 service calls out of this? Specifically or preferably, you want to have like 10x of that, right? Is that reasonable to expect? And then I make a decision. I like to stay in the $300 to $600. Like maybe I'll get 2 or 3 leads, right? But thinking about the other ad venues, right? Like I tried Next Door. Next Door, where I live, didn't do jack for me, right? But honestly, I did a $5 a day ad.
Yeah.
Which to me, it was like, man, that's a lot of money.
I mean, it comes down to content. Content a lot of times too is what are you doing in content to attract them, be it radio, TV, billboard, whatever. I'm not going to say who the company is, but there's a heating and air company that we drove by a new billboard that they got up, and we looked at it. There's absolutely no words. There's just a picture of their truck. And Shannon and I looked at that ad, and on the billboard, I'm like, I don't get it. It makes no sense. There's literally no wording on it. It's just a picture of their truck, and no call to action, no nothing. I'm like, I mean, I'm thinking about it, but it's like I still wouldn't call them just because of that billboard. So
I think
it doesn't give me a reason
because it's something you think about.
Yeah.
95% of the rest of the people driving past it ain't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just another thing in the sky.
Yeah. So no matter if it's your blogs, your social media posts, whatever it may be, what's good content, and this will probably be the last thing we talk about today because time's getting away from us, but what's good content for you to share? What's good content for you to use for advertising? For me, I write a blog once a month for our business. You can do it as many times as you want, but again, ChatGPT is great for helping you if you get in that. Before and after pictures of your work is always been great for me. I remember we used to take, when we do a big job like a full meter service and a full electrical panel change out, I would take before and after pictures, and I would go have that printed out in a little 8x10, and I would drop it back by their house and just thank them personally. Because for me, that was typically a $3,000 to $6,000 job. So yeah, I'm going to take, it usually took me about a day, sometimes 2, but I would take the time to go to print that out at Walgreens and drop it back by their house and shake their hand and say, hey, I just want to give this to you and thank you personally for all the work that you let me do for you and to make your home safer. And I remember going back into one house one time, and this was probably 6-7 years later. They had that picture right beside the electrical panel of the work that I did, the before and after. I mean, that meant so much for them. They left it there. And they're like, yeah, that's great, like resale value too, because people can see what it looked like before. And so it meant that much to them that they kept it right there. So before and after pictures, definitely share them on your social media, on your website. Yep, go ahead.
I've got something. I've been trying to do this every week. Provide some exclusive value, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll get distracted here. I haven't.
Squirrel.
It's a nice thought. But
I haven't either.
I've been trying to give like 5 or so exclusive ideas.
Mhm.
And I've been working on this thing. You guys know at the Service Alliance Group, we try to find ways to add value and build stuff for you to use. So I have a list of like 100 different Facebook post ideas,
Mhm.
and I'll give you guys 5 um, right now, and then we can talk about them if you want. I know we're getting close to the end, but before and after pictures was one, and that's why I had to stop you. I'm like, wait a minute, let me do this. So we mentioned customer testimonials. I started out with um, making a Canva banner for Facebook highlighting specific 5-star reviews.
Mhm.
Then I've since moved up to customer video testimonials, and then I might tag their review in it. Uh, so that's one I won't do before and after as one of the 5. Uh, let's see. Uh, Meeting your team, doing like a highlight. You've seen Jason do it. I do it with my office help team. I call it my office help team
Mhm.
uh, when I post it on mine. Or somebody in your on your team. Just do a little picture and a paragraph or so about who they are. Let people know who you are. Um, let's see. Fun facts about appliances. It's just something that's interesting and engaging. It's not really a call to action because
Mhm.
sometimes you don't want to have everything asking and pulling for you. Just provide some content, right?
It's
Uh,
engaging. It gets them to engage. Yeah.
uh, let's see. Behind the scenes on the repair story. So pick a repair that you did this week. You know, in the Appliance Alliance Facebook page, I think it's on Fridays. It's an interesting job that you did. So many people comment on that in our industry. And if you take that content and tailor it toward your audience, uh, show it might have some before and afters, but it may have a little bit of a story. Go to Chat GPT and write the story down and have it make a post about it or whatever. How many was that? 4?
I'll
Uh,
give us a couple more.
okay.
These are
Uh,
good.
how to videos on how to take care of your appliance.
Mhm.
Maybe make a quick video on how to clean the condenser coils or
But
advice.
EJ, video is so overwhelming. It takes so much to do a video. What are you talking about? I gotta have professional equipment. I gotta have studio lighting. No.
I have a cell phone.
Do
Uh,
you have a cell phone? You can do a video.
you
I
know
tell
what I
you that.
like to do too is I ride along with my guys every now and again, and
Mhm.
Terry calls me paparazzi. I'm
Yep.
always taking pictures of them.
When
Uh,
I've come out and rode with you and went to your shop, what am I usually doing? I'm always getting a picture because there's content everywhere.
yeah.
Content everywhere. Um, I
uh,
mean, there's things that I took pictures of this weekend. We were at this motorcycle rally that it's content that I can use for business, right?
Here's one.
Content is everywhere.
Jenny's commenting, so this one that popped up, and it makes me think of Jenny too.
Yeah.
Uh, so Jenny's social media thing that I tagged uh, earlier, the Chat GPT for social media content, uh, does this. So it'll
Mhm.
make a 1,000-word blog post, and it'll give you a bunch of Facebook post ideas. Writing it out, and you just got to like modify it a little bit. But we were talking last night, Jenny and I. I have this uh, thing. I've wrote a blog and I've turned it into a script for a YouTube video. 5 tips on choosing the appliance repair company you want to use. Like, check the reviews. Do they do a warranty? Do they do upfront pricing? Right. And then you can turn each one of those into a little video.
Yep.
Uh, but this one that made me think of Jenny, local community event involvement.
Mhm.
Jenny and Joe at Cavalry Appliance, they are so big at getting involved in their community. and she takes pictures during it and then shares it. She shares, hey, here's what we've done. Take pictures of your company party. You do Popcorn Friday.
Yep.
Uh, myths, Mythbusters for your company. These are just some ideas. I'm going to stop because I want you
That's
guys
good
to
stuff.
actually want the list.
Yeah. And
But the list actually has examples.
yeah, for sure. I like what she says there. We'd rather spend our money supporting causes than ads. Yeah. And if you can grow organically, it's so much better than having paid growth for sure. Good
Amen.
comments.
So,
Well, I know our time is past. Mike and I usually don't go this long, but when you put the two marketing guys together, we could talk about a lot of stuff for a long time. So
it
we're
took
gonna get
minutes for you to
get
get me warmed up.
what's that?
It took you about 30 minutes to get me warmed up.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, bookkeeping services. Shayna loves numbers, so get with the numbers geek. I mean queen, and have that conversation. Um, as far as today is concerned, man, if you found something that it was valuable for you, just pay the fee. And the fee is this: like, subscribe, share. Service Alliance Group, my office help, go find the vendors like Mike Carson and support these vendors, right? And there's a mastermind this weekend. Talk to us a little bit about the mastermind.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't noticed, the year is almost over.
Yeah,
And if you haven't made your plans when you set your goals, and we talked about me updating my business plan and making goals, uh, you're kind of running out of time. Because if you don't plan what you do, stuff just happens to you. So
yep,
Zach is leading the Smart Goals Mastermind this Saturday. I believe it's 10 a.m. Eastern because that's the good time zone. And going to go through how to pick what goals you want to focus on and how to build them up to where they're actually effective goals that you can track and stay motivated to go after. Uh,
yeah,
if you're serious about improving your business for the next year and you have some ideas and you want to make sure that you don't get caught up in the daily grind and miss them, you want to show up to this mastermind event.
gonna be a
Smart
good one.
Goals on November 16th.
How long is it gonna last?
Uh, they're usually about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay, so not a huge amount of time. You're done by lunch and off to the golf course or out to the driving range or motorcycle or I don't know.
If you haven't done it before, the 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 structure of it is usually like a 30-minute presentation about the topic, and then the rest of the time is workshop.
Yeah,
So we actually go through some kind of worksheet or workshop. Uh, we do the thing. We don't just talk about the thing. We do the thing.
do the work. Do the work. Do the
Do
thing.
the work. All right.
All right. Well, it has been great hanging with EJ today, the other Mike, and we'll see you all next week.
Next
This
week.
Thursday is kind of crazy because Mike is actually not EJ Mike, but Mike Carson is actually going to be on with the girls on Thursday. So
Now,
I'm going to
he's
tune in just to see what that happens there. Just saying.
he said to me that since he brought Kathy with him, his wife, and she's sitting through the classes too because he didn't want her to be on the beach while he was in classes. She's coming on the show.
Yeah.
I want to say it so she has to come. So it's going to be Mike and three girls,
Oof.
Kathy, Jenny, and Shayna. And it might get interesting. Jenny is like the queen of free marketing, and Mike does the paid SEO and ads management and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see them two kind of go back and forth respectfully,
Yeah.
but
Respectfully.
it'll be fun. You don't want to miss that one.
Be good. All right. Y'all have a great week. Talk to you next week.
See ya.